everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Let's Make Up with Carol J and some more too. I'm coming back to you all with a reaction video. What I'm going to do is give you some enlightenment of or a little background of the story, and then after I do that, I'm going to go into my actual reaction to it. So the video may be a little long. The good thing is that I do have a voice that a lot of people like to listen to. What we are talking about on today is Mr. Ray J. Yep, you know Ray J. Ray J, the one, in my opinion, who really can't sing, but who ended up getting a little bit of help because of his sister. Okay, yeah, that Ray J. So anyway, Ray J had an altercation at the BET Awards this past weekend. And I don't know if you all know it or not, or if you even watched it, but at one time there was a reality show with Ray J, Brandy, and their parents. What I will tell you is it appears to me that Ray J, as well as Brandy is Ray J's oldest sister or older sister. It appears to me that they come from a pretty good background. The parents seem to have pretty good heads on their shoulders. They've been married a very long time. Everything seems to be well and in place. Well, we all know that Brandy ended up acting. We know that Brandy had a very wonderful singing career. And then and then Ray J came on the scene. And the hope was that he would follow in his older sister's footsteps. So it always seems to me that something happens at one of these award shows here in, the entertainment industry, whether it be comedians, actors, actresses, whether it be at a concert. It's always something going on. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I have been following everybody. I have been following P. Diddy. I have been following Cat Williams. And Cat Williams said at the beginning of the year that a lot of people would ultimately be exposed this particular year. Cat Williams said that a lot of people would be exposed this particular year, 2024. And if you thought he was only talking about in and with comedians, then you're sadly mistaken. We're seeing that it's happening everywhere. It's happening with politicians. It's happening with actors and actresses. It's happening all over. People are just being exposed. And I still want to go back to what I always know was done in the dark is going to come out in the light. But as I said before, something always tends to happen at one of these shows, whether it be a BET Awards show, whether it be the Academy Awards, whatever, folks getting slapped, whatever it is, it's always something, right? Hollywood always has something going on. There's always some sort of drama attached. Well, recently, this past weekend at the BET Awards, Ray J, as I mentioned before, the younger sister of Brandy, the singer Brandy, had a scuffle, or like Judge Judy says, a katato. A scuffle, katato, whatever you want to have it, however you want to say it. And what happened was there was a pushing, shoving, pounce match. Ray J and Zeus CEO, and I believe his name is Lamille Plummer. He is the CEO of the Zeus Network. I didn't know nothing about the Zeus Network at all. But you know what I found out, and not necessarily found out, but I was reminded that Ray J has a business called Raycon, okay? Anyway, Ray J and this gentleman, Lemuel Plummer, got into some sort of altercation at the BET Awards. Ray J claims that he was in fact working. He was in fact working at the BET Awards, doing what? I have no idea. And he went to go and take a break. Ray J claims that he was working and he went to go take a break. And he said, I'm speaking on this because I'm in a really bad place mentally. This is what Ray J said. And I quote, I'm in a really bad place mentally. This was posted on X. And he says, I am at a breaking point. And on this post, he said, I got into a heated altercation with Lemuel Plummer at an after party after the BET Awards ceremony. What Ray J did in that post is he made mentions of money. And he made mentions of what I call dirty money. And as I said earlier, if you've been following my content, what you do know is that at the beginning of the year, I posted a video of Cat Williams when he went to see Shannon Sharpe, and he was ratting out on all of the snakes in what is called a comedy club, comedy clique. Some who were just a part of being and working in Hollywood, and some who were just in the clique. Well, what ended up happening at that time, Cat Williams mentioned that some crazy things were happening in Hollywood. Y'all, we get the movies, we get the little TMZs, sometimes we get the entertainment tonight, we get the little clips and things sometimes, so we don't always get the real. But Cat Williams is right there in it. He knows, he and all the others that are a part of the entertainment industry are all a part of it. So they're front and center right there, and they know what's going on. Anyway, he mentioned that some crazy things were going on with people, and that people in Hollywood were starting to do any and everything for money. And I'm saying this because this is along the lines of what AJ said in his message that he posted on social media. Cat said that people would be exposed this year. And what a year it has been thus far. We've heard a lot of different things about a lot of different artists, about a lot of different actors, about a lot of people in the entertainment industry. Ray J was stating in his post that he was working and had every intention of working to provide for his family. And his intention in working and providing for his family was so that he could have continued generational wealth for his children and possibly his children's children. But he said that money is evil. What did I tell y'all in the last few videos that I've been talking about? The Bible tells us, for the love of money, money is okay, but we can't love it. We know that we always need money to buy this, to get this. And see, this is the thing. It's a medium. You want money to buy the things that you need. You need money to buy things that it is that you need. You want money to buy the things that you want. But sometimes greed tends to get in there. And the more you get, the more you want. And unfortunately, whatever it is that you're going to have to do it, if you don't have a code of ethics, if you don't have a conscience, you're going to do whatever it is that you feel you need to do to get it. And this is what Ray J is saying. Money is evil and people are bad. And in that post, Ray J mentioned that he couldn't take it anymore. He said, money is evil, people are bad, and I can't take it anymore. Period. When you think of a star saying something like that, that's heavy. Because in our mind, as we struggle every day to make ends meet, to pay bills, to put food on the table, to just live normally, you have somebody who could eat anything, could go anywhere, could buy anything. But that goes to show you that money is the root of all evil. Okay? And it does say, for the love of money in the Bible is the root of all evil. Ray J continued to go on and stated that he had an incident, as I said, at the BET Awards. And this is where all of this stemmed from. Ray J had been working and he went to go take a break. He claims that he had been barred from returning back into the BET Awards during the ceremony. He said that there was a false sense of reality. Okay? And when he said the false sense of reality, because he was talking about the BET Awards, I'm assuming that he is referring to Hollywood as a whole. Hollywood and all of those who have a part of it. But what Ray J had mentioned in the post, you can see it, I believe, on X, you can see it on IG. Ray J is mentioning in the post that all of these happenings, all of these things that are continuing to go on are causing him to have a false sense of reality, which in turn is making his entire life confusing and miserable. We're going to stop right there really, really quick. When your mind state is beginning to be affected by the things and people around you, that is when we have a problem. Because what's happening is it's a dump. He's getting a dump. Now, what I mean when I say getting a dump, people are dumping things on him. He's being placed in situations where things are being dumped on him. And sometimes we, as a people, have a tendency to place ourselves in situations that have no concern with us. We always want, a lot of times we want to fix something that, number one, isn't broken, or number two, doesn't have anything to do with us. I am not necessarily saying that this is what is going on with Ray J, but I do know that sometimes we dibble and dab in things that don't concern us, and then we carry the weight. I can tell you I know it. I'm human, I'm honest, real, raw, and relatable, and I can tell you we do it. I've done it. But this situation, this false sense of reality, is making Ray J's whole life confusing. I'm going to tell you first and foremost, confusion is what causes people to have a mental breakdown. It's what causes people to have a mental breakdown. Ray J said that the incident that went on over the weekend with the BET Awards had him not feeling good at all. He actually said it was very hurtful unto him, the way that he was handled and the way that they did him. He claims that he had been working, as I said, and took a break, and he wasn't allowed back in. Now, if you really think about it, they have to pay for those seats, okay? If they have to pay for those seats, regardless of how much money you make, his money is thrown away if he can't get back in. The question is, what was done or said regarding Ray J that allowed the BET award officials to say that he was no longer able to come back into the building. Ray J said, or he even insinuated, that perhaps someone didn't want to see him. Perhaps someone didn't want him in there based on something maybe that he had said or done to someone else. He claims that the incident caused him to think and reminisce on his everyday life. And he said, and the truth is that he is faced to accept that his life is in fact a lie. I'm going to stop right here because this is what I'm saying. Once again, it kind of sounds like there's a dump. It kind of sounds like he's carrying some things that may have something to do with him, maybe because they're family related situations, maybe because he was there at the time that something went on. But when we allow everyday life and its situations to give us a false sense of reality, and then we're saying that our life is a lie, then we're in an unhappy state. Ray J is not in a good place, as we already know. Supposedly, during the scuffle that Ray J had with this gentleman, I always forget his name. I believe it's Lemuel Plummer, who is the CEO of Zeus Network. They were running up on each other, or pushing each other. It was just a scuffle. Nobody ended up getting hurt. Ray J threw a punch, and then they said that he threw a punch and hit no one. Now, I don't like the way that they worded that, because it almost makes him seem, it almost to me was a jab, because all they could have said was he hit a punch and wasn't successful. But then maybe I'm being too nice. Anyway, he hit a punch and hit no one. So basically what it was is just a lot of noise, pushing and shoving going on, a lot of confusion. And this took place at the after party. So Ray J and Lemuel are pushing on each other. They are, trying to make each other's life relevant. And so in doing that, there is a scuffle. There are bodyguards trying to make sure that no one gets hurt in this. And so it's a lot of confusion going on. It's a lot of people that are trying to get into the party to go and celebrate perhaps for awards they had won. And then we got this confusion outside. So pushing and shoving with Ray J and everything. Ray J heads back to his car. And when he heads back to his car, he pulls out a backpack and he heads back over to Lemuel. And no one knows what's in the backpack. No one knows. All you can see on the video is that Ray J is heated, upset, heading back to go and get his backpack puffed. At one time, Ray J was walking around with no t-shirt on. So Ray J was just ready. He was ready for whatever was going to happen. Okay? Now, the bodyguards and the others that were associated with keeping him calm were convincing or attempting to convince Ray J to get back into the vehicle that they drove in, and they did. They managed to get him into the vehicle, and they actually drove off. Back to these posts. So Ray J is continuing to say in the post that he's just not in a good place. And it's so sad, because if you're like me, no one wants to see anyone in a bad place. I know for me, I don't like to see anybody sad. I don't like to see anybody hurting, regardless of what happened or happens. I just don't like to see people sad. I am a people lover. To see Ray J like this, even though he is not one of my favorite people, is very sad because he's a husband and a father, a son and a brother. So, he's been posting on several of these social media networks that he's not in a good place, that he is in fact suicidal, and that he knows that he needs some help. There is talk that a couple of weeks ago he was on the Breakfast Club and he stated the same thing and was reacting strangely. And a lot of people think that there is a great possibility that Ray J has been or is under the influence of something, because it's making him a radical. Now, I have seen the reality shows that he has been on, and I've seen him in a radical state. I have. But it's a little bit different now. It does look like he's under the influence of something. What I do want to say is Ray J is a 43-year-old male. He was also on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and you can see that on YouTube. He was recently on there, and he was going off about, meaning Ray J, was going off about the NBA players and rappers and how all of them are passing their girlfriends and their wives around, sleeping with people, and he was giving names. And that right there in and of itself is a big no-no. That's not something that you do. You all up on the internet networking and opening your mouth, that can cause you to have a bout of depression because you placed yourself in something or some things that don't concern you that may have repercussions. So Ray J and Brandy, his older sister, the single Brandy, are very, very close. Ray J ended up apologizing to Brandy, and he told her that he'd make it right. I don't know whatever this he'd make it right thing is. I don't know what's going on. From the way it sounds like something was done to his sister, and he feels obligated to rectify it. But I have no idea. Ray J mentioned he'd make it right and that he wouldn't let him get away with it. All right? He also went on to say, they paid me to shut up, and I did. And I feel bad for it. And then he went on to say that he HATE himself for it as well. And he mentioned, I don't want any more dirty money. Here we go, talking about the dirty money that is attached into situations within the entertainment industry. So he promised that he would make it right for his sister Brandy and that he would move on, okay? That he would be free from all of this situation and that he would be free from all of this stuff and free from the world, and that he would move on with what's real for him, what's real for Ray J. No matter the consequences I have to face on the other side. That right there is very cryptic, because what that's indicating to me in my head is that he is wanting to take his life, and he believes, as well as I, that he is going to stand before God, and there will be some consequences for him having took his own life. Ray J went on to say, I tried for the last time. And then he mentioned that he was on his way out of the country. Some might ask, what could it possibly be that would make him be so wired up? What could it possibly be that would make him want to end his life? We will never know, because one thing I can tell you about people in the entertainment industry is they speak in code. Y'all know that. They speak in code. They don't just come right out. It's very few of them that just come right out and say what it is that they actually mean. They speak a lot of code. And the reason they speak in code is because, number one, they're trying to protect themselves. And a lot of times they're trying to protect others. I'm going to give you another little background about this Ray J and Lemuel Plummer relationship, because I had to see, well, what's going on? As I told you all, Ray J does and is in business for himself. He does own Raycon. And what happened is, when Ray J was interviewed, he accused Lemuel, Zeus Network CEO, of manipulating women to sleep with him, and then they could appear on his show. At that time, when Ray J made that allegation, he said, Ray J, that he was going to pursue legal litigation in regards to that statement that he made about Lemuel. And that is in turn why there was a kerfuffle, like Judge Judy says, or a scuffle, because they have bad blood. There's a bad relationship. Somebody said something that they wasn't supposed to say, possibly to someone else, and it got back. I don't know the whole deal because I wasn't there. I just know based on what it is that I have read in all of my researching. The concern for me is that Ray J's statements are very cryptic, and they're real. He says that he is hurt, that the situation with the BET Awards and not being able to come back in was very hurtful. It has caused him to be suicidal, in addition to other things that are going on in his life. And he just doesn't really know how much more he's going to be able to take. Really quickly, I am going to give you my take on it. And it's easy. It's so very easy. And this is it. The bottom line is this: no matter where we go, no matter what it is that we do, somebody somewhere is always going to do it better than you. And that person that, quote unquote, does it better than you has people who thinks, including themselves, that they do it better than you. But what you also have to remember is you yourself have people who appreciate what it is that you bring into the world. I think that we unnecessarily bump heads with people, and it comes down to one thing: drive in your own lane. Stay in your own lane. Stop worrying about what he or she is doing in their life and in their situations, and control and master what it is that you have before you. I believe, because I too suffered for a long time with bouts of depression, that it's a couple of things that we can do that bring about bouts of depression. Sometimes we can take on too much. We can do too much and give too much. We can allow people into our lives that don't deserve to be into our lives, and we end up reaping the benefits, whether good or bad, of what those people bring until it passes. Ray J needs to just get on an island and get some clarity. Once he comes back to the States, make up his mind that he's going to go forward and not worry about what he said, she said, or they said. But just go forward in doing what keeps his mind in a positive place. What I found is if people think that they can trouble you and taunt you, they most definitely, absolutely will. Because some people are on assignment. Some people are on assignment. That's just all to it. And guess what? We all are. The difference of the assignments that we are on is that some people's assignment is good and others people's assignment is bad. But you just have to choose what side you're going to be on. Because all of us are potentially offered a bad and or a good assignment. It comes with a decision, and you have to be willing to choose what decision you're going to make. Ray J has a lot of money, has a lot of followers, and a lot of people who love him. My prayer for him is that he doesn't let the negative of anybody dictate to him who he is, but he already has, because he's in that place. I'm going to pray for him. What I want to say is, if you know anyone who may be having these suicidal thoughts, please make sure that you mention this number that is on the screen for them to call to seek help. The bottom line is, we love you and we want you here. And nothing and nobody or anything that they do is worth you taking your life. That said, y'all have a wonderful day. Go ahead and pop me some questions in the comment section. If there's something that you'd like for me to check out and react on, I will, depending. If it's gory, if it's filthy, if it's certain things I'm going to do and certain things that I'm not. But I will give everything a fair chance. I will give everything a fair chance. But if I find that it doesn't work for me, then I found that it doesn't work for me, and I just won't do it. Have a wonderful and blessed day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.